There are two methods to make surface chains. One method, you're working through your work. The chain sits closer to your work. It's not raised much. I think that it gives crisper lines and it's easier to work in the ends to hide them. And then on the back side, it has a nice thin line. The other method, you're actually forming your chains on top of your work, which is why it's called surface chains. It is a little bit more above your work. I think this one's actually harder to do, but because you're not able to see your yarn as easily with this one, some people might find this one harder. I'm going to show you both of those. They're worked pretty much in the same way. If you want to change direction, you just use your stitches as your guide for the direction that you're going to go. So let me show you those two methods. And again, at the end, when you weave these ends in, I think this first method is my preferred method. I'm going to start with a slip knot. And I'm actually going to take that off my hook. And then I go into the stitch where I want it to start to the back and pull that yarn, that slip knot, to the front. And hold your yarn like you would for crocheting. I'm going to go into my work to the back, and then I'm going to pull that yarn through to the front and make a chain. And that's all I'm doing. I'm going to pull that yarn through to the front. After I get a feel for it, I don't need to keep looking at the back side where it's at, but you can if that is helpful to you. And that makes my surface chain. If I want to change direction, I just use my stitches. I put my hook in the next stitch where I want to turn and continue chaining in that direction. And then if I want to go back to this direction, then I can go that way, whichever direction you would like. When you're finished and you've gotten to where you'd like to be, then I simply pull my yarn through, pull it down a little bit, and then I'm going to take care to weave this in really well so that it doesn't come undone. And I would come back here and I would go back and forth through this part and weave it in there really well, and then maybe come this direction as well. So that's that method. And then the other method, if you want to work from the top side, make your slip knot, keep it on the top of your work, go into your work where you want your chain to start, and with my yarn to the right side, I'm going to pull that yarn through the stitch and the loop on the hook, and then I'm going to insert my hook underneath the next stitch in the direction that I want to work my surface chain. And I can see the yarn in the front. However, this does give more bulk. So if that's not the look that you're going for, then the other method would be great. And you would work in the same way. If I want to go then a different direction, I just insert my hook underneath the stitch in the direction that I want to go and continue forming my chains on top of my work. Both methods work very well. It just depends on the look that you're going for and what's easier for you. One thing that with this method of working from the front, you have to make sure that you don't pull your chains too tightly or it will cause your work to buckle. I think that this method is a little bit easier in forming your chains, but again, it has a very different look. So this one sits really close to the fabric and almost down in there. This one sits a little bit above, you can see. And you would end it in the same way. Just pull your thread out and weave your yarn in then when you're done. Pull this one a little bit here. So try both methods, see what you like. Try not to split your yarn like I did here. Again, I've used this, like the yellow one, so many times that after a while they start to split. So make some surface chains and see what you think.